The story opens with Kang Young-ho, the influential chairman of Choice Group, personally inspecting one of the company's latest vehicles. While reviewing its performance, he instructs his loyal secretary, Sang Jae, to immediately summon all top executives, hinting that a major announcement is about to shake the corporation. At the same time, we are introduced to Jun, a gifted young footballer whose career is about to take a life-changing turn. His exceptional talent earns him a massive offer from Choice Group's football division worth 500 million won. Overjoyed, Jun celebrates his breakthrough as media cameras capture what looks like the beginning of a bright future. Back at the corporate headquarters, tension brews within the chairman's family. His children, Song and Gong, both ambitious and hungry for power, gather with expectations of being named successor. However, Young-ho shocks them by refusing to choose an heir immediately. Instead, he challenges both siblings to prove themselves over the next month. This unexpected decision immediately ignites rivalry between them, pushing each to seek shortcuts and manipulative tactics rather than genuine leadership growth. Privately, Sang Jae suspects that the chairman may be deliberately fueling this competition to expose their true nature. Young-ho, however, insists that he simply wants to see who is genuinely fit to take control of the empire. During a family dinner later that night, Song and Gong try to impress their father by boasting about their business plans and financial achievements. Their arrogance only irritates Young-ho, who makes it clear that leadership cannot be earned through empty talk about profit. Meanwhile, Young-ho's wife grows concerned when she learns he is preparing to step away from his position. Though she worries about his health and motives, he reassures her that he only wishes to slow down and observe the future of the company from a distance. Soon after, Sang Jae urgently requests the chairman's presence outside the office. Trusting him completely, Young-ho agrees without hesitation. However, during their drive, the chairman is shown a disturbing file revealing corruption and illegal dealings tied to both Song and Gong. The evidence exposes deep financial crimes that could completely destroy the family's reputation if made public. Unbeknownst to Young-ho, his children secretly realize he has discovered their secrets after catching sight of the documents. Panic sets in as they begin arguing over how to handle the situation. Suspicion grows further when Young-ho notices irregularities in the vehicle. The dashcam memory card is missing, and the headlights appear altered. A shaken security guard eventually confesses that Song and Gong instructed him to remain silent. Elsewhere, Jun enjoys a joyful call with his grandmother, celebrating his football success. At the same time, Song and Gong, distracted while reviewing dashcam footage inside their car, lose focus on the road. In a devastating moment, their vehicle collides with Jun. The accident changes everything. Although Jun survives, his future is completely shattered. The doctor later delivers crushing news: his injuries have ended his football career permanently. While Jun's world falls apart, Song and Gong rush to erase all traces of the crime. They wipe surveillance data, clean evidence, and restore the damaged vehicle to hide any proof of the incident. Determined to uncover the truth, Jun begins investigating on his own. He recalls part of the license plate and approaches the authorities, but without solid evidence, his claims are ignored. To further silence him, Gong uses her influence to remove Jun from the football club and bury him under financial pressure, ensuring he has no path forward. Just when hope seems lost, Jun discovers a crucial lead through a recorded video call from his grandmother. Reviewing the footage carefully, he identifies the license plate linked to Choice Group. Armed with proof, Jun confronts Chairman Young-ho directly at the company. He presents photographic evidence of the damaged car along with the video footage that connects it to the accident. Young-ho is stunned as the truth becomes undeniable: his own children are responsible. Yet instead of showing remorse, he tries to settle the matter with money, offering Jun a blank check. But Jun refuses outright. No amount of wealth can restore what he has lost. Later, the chairman confronts Song and Gong. They break down and beg for forgiveness, but he is filled with disappointment and anger. Declaring them unworthy, he decides they should be removed from succession entirely. However, fate intervenes before he can act. In a chaotic moment outside the building, Song accidentally crashes into his father while chasing him in panic. The impact sends Young-ho tumbling down a staircase. At the same time, Jun is nearby. Their collision triggers an unimaginable twist. When Young-ho regains consciousness, he finds himself in a hospital bed, but something is terribly wrong. Looking at his reflection, he realizes he is no longer in his own body. He is now inside Jun's body. Meanwhile, his original body lies unconscious in another hospital room, surrounded by shocked family members as news of the hit-and-run scandal spreads rapidly. As panic rises, Young-ho desperately tries to understand what has happened and reach his own body. But an intense surge of pain overwhelms him. The powerful chairman trapped inside the life of the very man whose future his family destroyed, setting the stage for revenge, consequences, and a battle between power and justice. Desperate to understand the mysterious body swap, Kang Young-ho attempts to reach his original body inside the hospital. But each step closer triggers intense, unbearable pain, forcing him to realize a terrifying truth: any direct connection between the two bodies could endanger both lives. Unable to risk it, he pulls away just in time. Before medical staff can regain control, he escapes from the hospital in confusion and panic. Outside, he unexpectedly crosses paths with Gal, the chairman's estranged daughter who has recently returned from New York. Mistaking him for an ordinary man, she aggressively confronts him, accusing him of leaking sensitive company information. Young-ho, now trapped in Jun's identity, is stunned to see her back at Choice Group and questions her motives. Gal remains cold and guarded, hinting that her return is driven by unresolved resentment toward the company. Their tense exchange ends without resolution, leaving suspicion between them. Shortly after, Song and Gon arrive to check on Jun's condition. Acting concerned and sympathetic, they carefully question him about the accident, trying to determine what he remembers. Beneath their polite expressions lies fear. They are still searching for how much evidence might exist against them. Unaware they are speaking directly to their father, they casually expose their arrogance and lack of remorse. At the same time, Gal overhears a critical conversation involving Sang-jae. Piecing together fragments of information, she begins to suspect that the accident was not caused by the chairman at all, but by Song and Gong. The realization shocks her deeply. Elsewhere, Gal's mother warns her not to get involved with Choice Group again, fearing that old family conflicts may resurface and put her in danger. Gal, however, remains determined and refuses to step away. Inside the company, tension spreads rapidly. Employees whisper about the hit-and-run incident, debating whether the chairman is guilty or simply covering for his children. The uncertainty fuels panic among executives and shareholders. Song and Gong, meanwhile, confidently believe they have erased all traces of the crime. Feeling untouchable, they focus their attention on controlling Jun and managing public perception. When they meet him again, they continue probing for information under the guise of concern. Their manipulative behavior frustrates Young-ho, who is forced to remain silent while listening to his own children act without shame. The situation escalates when Gong publicly shifts blame onto her father during a press interaction, positioning him as the cause of the scandal. In private, she reveals a darker strategy. Her husband works at the hospital treating Young-ho, giving her leverage over his medical condition. She is convinced the chairman will never wake again. Meanwhile, Young-ho observes the company spiraling into chaos. Investors panic, leadership discussions begin, and the possibility of collapse looms over Choice Group. A board emergency meeting is called to stabilize the situation. Before any decisions are finalized, breaking news interrupts everything. Jun has called for a press conference. The entire company gathers, expecting him to expose the truth about the twins. Instead, Young-ho makes an unexpected move. To protect the empire he built, he publicly accepts responsibility for the accident. The confession shocks everyone, but he believes sacrificing his reputation is the only way to preserve Choice Group's stability. The twins quickly take advantage of the moment, pretending to support him in front of reporters to clean their own image. After the press event, Young-ho returns to Jun's apartment for the first time using his ID card. The experience overwhelms him. The small, modest space is a stark contrast to the luxury he once controlled. For the first time, he begins to understand the struggles of ordinary life. Elsewhere, Gong's husband prepares a suspicious injection in the hospital and confirms to her that everything is ready. Their plan hints at something far more dangerous approaching. That night, Young-ho secretly enters his original hospital room and retrieves a hidden cane tied to one of his personal secrets. While he is there, the twins attempt something unthinkable. They try to kill their unconscious father by suffocating him with a pillow. Barely regaining awareness, Young-ho triggers an emergency alarm, forcing them to flee before completing the act. The incident leaves him shattered, finally realizing how far his children are willing to go. Soon after, doctors announce that his condition has worsened due to severe cardiac complications. In the shadows, a mysterious man receives confirmation that the chairman's condition is deteriorating. His reaction suggests he has been waiting for this moment, hinting at a larger conspiracy still unfolding. While going through Jun's belongings, Young-ho discovers the blank check he once offered as compensation. To his surprise, Jun had not filled in money. Instead, he wrote a bold request: ownership of Choice Group itself. The demand leaves him stunned, but instead of anger, it sparks a shift in his thinking. Quietly, he decides Jun may be more important than he first believed. To regain control of the situation, Young-ho negotiates a settlement with the twins and uses it to secure a position inside his own company. Now, the former chairman is forced to re-enter Choice Group as a low-level intern, completely unrecognized and powerless. No one knows who he truly is. No one respects him. And no one suspects that the man they see every day once ruled the entire corporation. When he meets Sang-jae again at the office, emotion nearly overwhelms him. Though he cannot reveal his identity, he hints that he will eventually need his loyal secretary's help once more. His arrival as an intern surprises employees, who dismiss him as just another inexperienced former athlete struggling in corporate life. At that point, Gal volunteers to supervise him directly. From the very beginning, they clash. Young-ho accidentally reveals knowledge only the chairman should possess, raising Gal's suspicion immediately. She begins watching him closely, convinced there is something unusual about June. She quietly decides that she won't let him out of her sight until she uncovers the truth behind his strange behavior and gathers undeniable proof of what he is hiding. Meanwhile, Young-ho, still living inside June's body, questions the department manager about Gal's unusual role in the company. He wants to know why the chairman's daughter is being treated like a low-level helper instead of someone with authority. The manager responds bluntly, explaining that Gal is assigned to assist everyone with small tasks around the office. In practice, she is treated more like a disposable aide than an executive. The answer shocks Young-ho, and his frustration grows as he realizes how little respect she is receiving inside his own company. The manager, however, avoids taking responsibility. He quietly admits that the real control lies with Song and Gong, and no one dares to challenge them. As the day ends, employees prepare for a company gathering. During casual conversation, Young-ho unexpectedly reveals that he doesn't even know how to use Excel, catching everyone off guard. Sensing an opportunity, he tries to get Gal to personally teach him, but she leaves with the others for the office event, leaving him behind. That night, Young-ho shifts back into strategy mode. He accesses June's computer system and begins copying sensitive company data onto a flash drive. After securing the files, he secretly returns to his former office. Using the hidden cane he previously recovered, he unlocks a concealed vault that no one else knows exists. Inside, he finds stacks of cash, gold reserves, and a high-level VIP access card, assets that confirm his old power is still partially intact. At the same time, Gal attends a gathering where she overhears employees discussing unusual internal dealings. The conversation reinforces her suspicion that corruption within Choice Group runs far deeper than what is publicly visible. Elsewhere, Young-ho continues using whatever influence remains within reach. Even without his official position, he carefully manipulates hidden resources to maintain control behind the scenes. He later visits the hospital and secretly meets a nurse. Offering her money, he asks her to update him regularly about his original body's condition and ensure it is properly cared for. Before leaving, he hands her a sealed letter and instructs her to deliver it to Sang-jae without delay. The next day, Sang-jae receives the letter. The nurse claims the chairman briefly regained consciousness long enough to write it before slipping back into critical condition. Back at the company, Gal approaches June with a business file. Their usual tension continues as they exchange sharp remarks, but underneath the conflict, both are carefully observing each other's behavior. Gal remains convinced that June knows far more than he admits, while Young-ho notices she is quietly investigating internal corruption on her own. Later, a major corporate meeting begins. Gal prepares to present findings about suspicious partner companies linked to illegal activities. However, before she can speak, June suddenly interrupts and takes control of the discussion. To everyone's shock, he warns executives to immediately cut ties with 3 specific companies. The room falls into silence. Gal is stunned. Those are exactly the same companies she planned to expose. She cannot understand how an ordinary intern could possess such precise insider knowledge. Song also becomes alarmed, quietly suspecting that someone inside the organization is leaking sensitive information. The atmosphere inside the meeting grows tense and unstable. Afterward, Gal confronts June directly. She demands to know how he obtained such confidential details and why he appears to be acting against Song. Instead of giving a clear explanation, June subtly gestures towards Sang-jae and implies that his actions are aligned with a different authority. His vague response only deepens Gal's confusion. Now she is left with even more uncertainty than before, questioning June's identity and true intentions more than ever. Meanwhile, Sang-jae finally opens the sealed letter. The message inside sends shockwaves through Choice Group. It clearly states that none of Chairman Kang Young-ho's biological children should inherit the company. Instead, leadership should be determined by merit, allowing any capable employee within the organization to become chairman. The board is immediately thrown into chaos. Song and Gong angrily accuse Sang-jae of forging the document, refusing to accept its legitimacy. But Sang-jae presents verification from international handwriting experts confirming that the letter is authentic. For the first time, panic spreads among the siblings. Their guaranteed path to power is suddenly in serious danger. Before the board can reach any conclusion, the meeting doors open once again. Standing at the entrance is June, but inside him is Kang Young-ho. He calmly steps forward, surveys the stun room, and delivers a question that freezes everyone in place. If any employee can become chairman, then why not me? In front of everyone, the chairman suddenly declares that he wants to become the successor of the company. His unexpected statement leaves the executives confused, and after the meeting ends, they continue discussing June, wondering what his true intentions are. Meanwhile, Song confronts the chairman in private. Grabbing him by the collar, he demands an explanation for what happened during the presentation. The chairman claims that his memory has been acting strangely and insists that he only repeated information he had been instructed to investigate. According to him, he knows nothing more about the 3 suspicious companies mentioned earlier. Although Song is not completely convinced, he decides to focus on protecting himself. He immediately orders his trusted executives to freeze the secret slush fund accounts and hide all traces connected to the shell companies before anyone discovers the truth. At the same time, the family gathers to question Gil. After learning that she has secretly worked as an intern in the company for years, they decide to test her loyalty. Gil is told to transfer all her personal assets to her siblings and return home to see her mother. Hoping to gain their trust, she agrees. Later, while talking to her mother, Gil reveals that she has signed over everything she owns. Unbeknownst to her, the chairman overhears the conversation and becomes curious about what her siblings have demanded from her. As the days pass, Gil quietly collects information inside the company. She attends meetings, speaks with employees, and gathers evidence regarding suspicious activities. The chairman secretly observes her efforts and begins to realize that she may be more capable than everyone assumes. One night, the chairman sneaks into a hidden room to retrieve cash, but Gil catches him in the act. She immediately questions how he knows the security code. Taking her to a rooftop, he reveals a shocking secret: her late father was the one who shared the code with him. He also claims that Gil's own brother and sister were responsible for certain incidents in the past. Gil is furious and demands that he reveal everything publicly. However, the chairman explains that he has no proof. Instead, he asks for her support, insisting that her siblings are unfit to inherit the company. Although Gil refuses to give him an answer, she leaves the conversation with serious doubts about her family. The next day, Gil returns home and discovers that her mother has been living like a servant in the household. Watching her mother work endlessly breaks her heart. Determined to expose the people responsible, she silently vows to make everyone pay for what they have done. Back at the company, rumors spread that neither of the current candidates will become the next chairman. Until a final decision is made, Song Jae is placed in charge of overseeing major operations. Song Jae quickly starts investigating suspicious managers and launches internal audits. At the same time, the chairman continues helping employees solve problems throughout the company. His practical advice earns respect from workers, even though many executives still view him as a troublemaker. Soon, a new crisis emerges. The chairman receives a call informing him that his grandmother has disappeared. Surprisingly, he shows little concern, knowing a secret that nobody else is aware of: he is not actually her biological grandson. While searching for her, Gil offers him a ride. During their journey, another major scheme unfolds behind the scenes. Song's trusted associate suggests transferring the hidden slush funds into another account. What Song does not realize is that this associate has already betrayed him. Elsewhere, Song's father-in-law reveals his long-term ambition to seize control of the company. It becomes clear that powerful figures have been manipulating events from the shadows for years. At the hospital, Dong pressures her doctor husband to keep a patient unconscious longer than medically necessary. Although he initially refuses, her emotional manipulation eventually forces him to cooperate. The chairman finally finds his grandmother, who suffers from dementia and struggles to recognize him. Despite her condition, she continues to show affection toward him, creating one of the most emotional moments of the episode. Later, Gil opens up about her painful childhood and her belief that her father never loved her. The chairman disagrees, suggesting that her father may have made difficult decisions for her future rather than out of cruelty. The story then shifts back to the investigation. Song Jae's team discovers that one of the suspicious companies is directly connected to the hidden slush funds. Following the trail leads them to Executive Song, who has secretly been moving money for years. As the evidence grows, Song begins to panic. He checks his accounts and is horrified to discover that hundreds of millions have vanished. Realizing he has been betrayed, he desperately orders his assistant to find Executive Song before it is too late. Executive Song attempts to escape the country after providing money to his family. Before he can disappear, however, he secretly hands over access to the massive cryptocurrency account containing Song's hidden fortune. Moments later, a car explosion shocks everyone. At first it appears that Executive Song has been killed, but the truth is far more surprising. The chairman had anticipated the attack and secretly arranged for his rescue. Executive Song transfers control of the cryptocurrency assets to the chairman. As a reward, he receives enough money to start a new life with his family far away from the dangerous corporate war. Standing together after uncovering the truth, Gil finally begins to trust the chairman. He reminds her of the promise he made to her father and declares that they must work together to reclaim the company from the corrupt people trying to destroy it. The chairman taking another major step forward in his battle against the corrupt executives controlling the company. After successfully securing the hidden funds connected to Director Song, he approaches Gil with a proposal. Believing that they can achieve far more by working together, he offers her access to the account containing the recovered money. While the gesture appears sincere, Gil refuses to lower her guard. She makes it clear that trust must be earned and warns him that she will continue watching his every move. At the same time, trouble is brewing elsewhere. Jae Song discovers that the information he relied on was completely false. Realizing that someone has manipulated him, he becomes furious and launches an aggressive search for Director Song, convinced that a betrayal has occurred within his own circle. Back at the company, employees become fascinated by the growing connection between Gil and the chairman. Their recent disappearances and secret meetings quickly become the subject of workplace gossip. While everyone speculates about what might be happening behind the scenes, the department manager suddenly announces a team dinner to reward everyone's hard work. The chairman happily joins the gathering, partly because he is enjoying the thought of Jae Song struggling to recover his missing fortune. During the dinner, Gil ends up serving drinks to the entire team. The sight immediately irritates the chairman, who questions why someone with her abilities is being treated like a server rather than a respected colleague. Wanting to lighten the atmosphere, he proposes a drinking contest. Confident in his abilities, the manager accepts without hesitation. However, the chairman unexpectedly wins, earning the right to make one request. To everyone's amusement, his demand is simple: he wants future employees to be spared from endless company dinners. The following morning creates an even funnier situation. After becoming completely drunk the night before, Mr. Park wakes up inside a luxurious apartment and is stunned by the expensive surroundings. Curious about how an ordinary employee could afford such a place, he questions the chairman directly. Rather than revealing the truth, the chairman invents an outrageous story, claiming that he is actually the chairman's secret youngest son who intends to seize control of the company one day. Surprisingly, Mr. Park begins believing every word. Meanwhile, the atmosphere inside the company grows increasingly tense as detectives arrive to investigate Director Song's disappearance. Executives are questioned one after another, including Jae Song, who carefully avoids revealing anything that could implicate him. During a major board meeting, attention shifts toward a massive port development project that promises enormous profits and influence. The rivalry between Jae Song and Gong reaches a new level when both sides present competing plans. While Jae Song confidently claims that his project is progressing smoothly, Gong shocks everyone by revealing that she has already secured powerful financial backing. The announcement creates immediate tension and sparks accusations involving hidden funds and illegal financing. Watching everything unfold from the sidelines, Gil and the chairman realize that the conflict between the siblings is becoming increasingly dangerous. Rather than stopping it, they decide that the growing division may actually work in their favor. As they continue investigating, they discover connections between the project and powerful outside interests. The chairman realizes that several influential figures are manipulating events behind the scenes while using his own family members as pawns. Determined to stop them, he studies Gil's earlier proposals and finally acknowledges how intelligent and capable she truly is. Together, they begin building support for an alternative development plan. By meeting government officials and presenting a proposal focused on jobs and economic growth, they gradually gain political allies. Throughout the process, Gil watches the chairman navigate complex negotiations with remarkable confidence, making it increasingly difficult for her to understand what kind of person he really is. Elsewhere, family tensions continue to grow. Gil's mother remains trapped in a household where she is treated more like a servant than a family member. Seeing her mother's suffering only strengthens Gil's determination to change the future and expose the people responsible for years of mistreatment. As the investigation progresses, the chairman and Mr. Park finally obtain detailed evidence showing how hidden funds were distributed and which executives benefited from the corruption scheme. Armed with this information, the chairman continues moving his plans forward while staying several steps ahead of his opponents. Soon, a political scandal rocks the region when a mayor suddenly resigns amid corruption allegations. The unexpected development weakens Jae Song's influence and dramatically changes the balance of power. At the next board meeting, Gong takes full advantage of the situation. Despite Jae Song's desperate objections, her project receives approval while his authority continues to crumble in front of the other executives. Later, the tone of the episode shifts as the chairman invites Gil to dinner. What initially appears to be an ordinary meeting becomes much more personal when he hands her documents revealing that property she previously surrendered has quietly been returned to her ownership. He even predicts that the land will become extremely valuable in the future, leaving Gil stunned by how much thought he has put into helping her. As the evening continues, Gil finally gathers the courage to ask the question she has been avoiding for a long time. She directly asks whether he has feelings for her. For a brief moment, it seems as though she might finally receive an honest answer. Unfortunately, the moment is interrupted by an unexpected phone call. Before anything can be explained, the chairman leaves. Gil soon discovers that he secretly arranged a special meeting between her and her mother, paying for everything in advance. The thoughtful gesture leaves her deeply touched and even more confused about his true intentions. The story delivers one final shock. Returning to his garage, the chairman finds Gong and several others waiting for him. Their expressions immediately signal trouble. Then Gong reveals the words that change everything. She finally knows who he really is. The chairman stands frozen as years of carefully hidden secrets threaten to come crashing down around him. With his identity on the verge of being exposed, the episode ends on a tense cliffhanger that promises an explosive confrontation in the chapters ahead. See you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.